So I wanted to talk to you quickly about celebrating victories, successes, things that you do well, or things that you do a thing. It's a positive thing. It feels good. You celebrate it. You live in that positive moment for a short space of time. It is a feeling that I'm very unaware of to some degree. I grew up through a lot of my life being told, no, you don't do that. No, you don't do that. No, you don't celebrate that because it makes that person feel bad. And we don't make people feel bad. I was always feeling that if I tried to succeed and I did succeed, I had my succession capped. My succession cap, like that feeling that you get when you do something good, the win was like I had that squashed down as a case of yes, okay, you did good. Now be quiet and carry on doing whatever. It was almost like successes and victories to some degree became expected or they became the norm. It was like if I played sport and we won, like team game, if I played rugby and we won, you don't celebrate that because the whole idea of playing sport is to beat the other team. So congratulations, you did the thing that you were supposed to do. Why are you celebrating that? You don't celebrate when you go to school and you come home. You do that. It's like when you go to work. This is what I said to my counselor. Is like when you go home tonight, your wife and your kid aren't going to celebrate when you walk through the door because you've done a good thing. It's like you went to work. So I've had this really twisted and distorted understanding and perception of how to have that positive feeling of when you do a good or nice thing. Which then brings me on to this video. I know what you're thinking, right? It is 1:10 Wednesday morning, and I'm in a garage, very well decorated with all the crap that we've got in here, sanding down a 3D print that I've just made. Why am I doing that? Is because when I latch onto something that needs doing, I want to do it while I can still think about it. And what I'm doing right now is hopefully a little prototype from my boss's daughter, who is not very old, bless her, but she was actually born with a deformity in her hand. So she doesn't really have fingers. Underdeveloped hand is what he's told us. And he's shown us a picture of her. And bless her, it's just not the sort of thing that you see in the modern world. But she wants to play the guitar. And she's having trouble holding a plectrum and being able to pluck the strings. Thankfully, my boss put it into the group chat with me and the other boss. There's two bosses. And we have a little group chat between us because we are hive minds when it comes to fixes for things. And while one had one idea, I had another idea and decided that 1 o'clock in the morning was the best time to knock up a prototype for it. And that is basically where we're at. So you see the little line down the middle that actually squeezes onto a plectrum. You've got these little springy things there. The plectrum just slides into there and it holds it. And because her hand's really small, it'll fit in that curvature. And then two little holes there. And the idea is, and at the minute it's not really wide enough, but the idea is to get some sort of strap that you can go through there, like a little Velcro strap or something, so you can thread it through the other side, and it's slightly adjustable so that it can go kind of around. Let's get the right side so we can show you guys around the wrist or something, because her hand's not very much rounder than that. But it gives her a nice little adjustable thing that she can basically have kind of on her wrist and just use to strum the guitar without the need to use digits that she doesn't have.
Whether it works or not, I really don't know. That's the whole point of prototyping, though, right? But I can't lie to you that it is 1 o'clock in the morning, and I couldn't rest until I at least knocked up something. And as luck would have it, I've been very fortunate in the job that I do. It's a very creative job that they are helping me learn and understand various softwares and stuff. And, you know, sometimes all the luck falls in line. My boss was throwing away a 3D printer a while back, so I was like, yeah, I'll take it. And he did say that he didn't know if it worked or not. Last time he used it, it didn't work. And it's not a brand new thing. It's took some understanding for me to try and to work out what it is. A lot of Googling going on. Don't get me wrong, but once I understood it, turned it all on, leveled it all out, it works. Works fine. So when we have these tools or these, I don't know what you call them, the access to materials and stuff to just do a quick thing at 1 o'clock in the morning to help others out, why not? Why not? Like I say, it's only a little prototype, so it's not potentially going to work properly. It might work a little bit, it might not work at all. But I just needed to get something down. And it does hold a plectrum, it does hold a pick. I have tried it, my old man's got one, and I wedged it in, and it's pretty sturdy actually. I was expecting it to be a little bit looser than what it is, even though the tolerance is quite tight. But yeah, it works. I'm kind of proud in a really weird way that I was able to do something. Like I say, it might not actually work, but it's a case of it feeds that part of my brain that wants to help, doesn't necessarily know what to do to help. But this was one of those things where I had a bit of an idea, and I was just like, you know what, let's run with it and see what happens. So I'm just trying to sand down now because it's got quite a few little rough edges. So I'm just trying to take the rough edges out of it, so it's not so sharp. And thankfully we're pretty much there. Just got to work out what sort of tie I'm going to put through it to make it fit, but we've got plenty of things at work that we can use. My boss might even have a excuse me, my boss might even have a few things at home, but I just wanted to get my idea down, if you like. And yeah, that's what it is. For people who can't hold a plectrum, it's a little plectrum holder that you can tie to your hands. If you obviously, like I say, it's small, it's dainty, fits my wrist, fits the sort of ball of my hand thing. It's about the size of her hand, so see if we can help.
It's now Thursday. I did that thing, that little weird plectrum thing, Wednesday morning, the early hours of Wednesday morning. Now my Wednesday looks like I wake up, I go counselling, and then after counselling, I go to work. So I go to work. My boss is like, "Oh, we need to speak to you upstairs for a sec." Usually just a quick catch up on how things are going and what I need to know. And when I went up, we just had a quick little back and forth about what I needed to know. And I reached in my pocket. I chucked him that little thing that I made. And he looks at it. He's like, "What's this?" I was like, "It's to help your daughter hold the plectrum." And he's looking at it and he's like, "Okay, how?" And it's like the plectrum goes in the thing, and then we'll somehow work out how we, tie it around, and there you go, and that's what it is. And he was like, "Mate, I didn't actually expect you to do anything like that. How did you do it?" And reminded him that the other boss was throwing away 3D printer, and I had that. It took me like half an hour to do, so I just thought I'd just quickly knock it up, and no issues whatsoever. The kids are off on the school holidays at the minute, so he calls his daughter in, and the way that the office is set up is you basically, I sit here on this back wall and the doorway is here. So she comes through the door to him who's in front of me. So she doesn't really look to see me. She's only, I'm sure she's like 6, 7 years old. So he shouts her. She comes in, stands right in front of him, and he's like, "You remember last night when we were trying to play the guitar and you couldn't pick the strings? And Daddy said that he would go to speak to some people and we'd see what we could do." She was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "This is what we've got." And he hands it to her and she looks at it and she's like, "What is it?" And he gets a hand and he puts it against the hand and it's like, "It's to help you hold the plectrum." And he gets the plectrum, puts the plectrum in it and shows how it's like. It's like, "So hopefully we'll be able to work it. Like, we know it's not perfect right now, but it's just an idea and we can tweak it if we need to tweak it. We'll see how it goes." And then he points at me and goes, "That man there did it." And she turned around and she's just like, "Thanks." And then just runs back off to kind of play with her brother kind of thing. He then calls her back in because it was a case of just looking at how it all actually kind of fits to a hand. So if you notice in that last little video, it has like a little bit of a curve in it. And that curve is basically, so she doesn't have fingers. Her hand is almost, it's like a fist, and sort of where my knuckles are where her fingers would be. And she has this tiny little sort of thumb. So the curvature that I made actually fits perfectly around, it's basically the palm of her hand, but it is, like I say, it's more like a fist kind of thing, but it fits absolutely perfectly. How I got that, I got really lucky because, like I say, he sent a picture of what a hand was just to show, and I just kind of guessed it all from the picture. And she ran off again, and he was like, "How did you get there?" And I was just like, "I just looked at the picture and eyeballed it and hoped for the best." And I was talking to him about it, and I was just like, I couldn't not do something there and then. There was something that was really deep within me that's like, this kid is 6, 7 years old. She's already got something that's going to make her stand out from the crowd, which that's got to suck at the best of times, right? The last thing she needs is some really strange contraption that's like big and obvious sticking out of her hand. I was like, I just needed to try and do something that was quite small, quite, I want to say inconvenient. Inconvenient's not the word, but like it's subtle. It doesn't stand out overly. It's not too crazy or anything like that, but it does the job. And it's, somewhat adjustable so that as she grows, we can adjust it and make it fit. And he was sort of saying, "Look, I didn't expect you to do anything. I know how busy we are." And I just reminded him that it was in the early hours of the morning. I wasn't at work anyway, so it wasn't works time sort of thing. But he was he was genuinely thankful for it. The other side of that is I've been very lucky with my dad in that he might not be a skilled person, but he was always there for me as the individual. And I have a very strong bond with my dad. And I look at it like in the ideal world, every kid should be able to look up to their dad almost. He's the man. Like he does the things, he gets the things done. He's kind of like a little Superman for you, if you like. So when I got that message through in the evening on Tuesday for like, what can we do about this? It was like, right, it's time to make him be that super dad that I felt I had with my dad and that I would want to be for my kids if I could, if I ever had kids. And I needed to make something and get it done. In the end, the little hoop links that we got on it, so we've actually got some like Velcro ties that we use for cables, and it was just a case of just trimming them down so they fit through the loops and then just getting two so that they velcro together. And it was all just, it's literally just a prototype just to see how it goes. And yeah, basically when they left to go home, she's like, "Thank you," as she went. And I must admit, it was really hard for me the rest of that evening at work not to get choked up because I've never been able to celebrate wins. I've always had it been put into me that celebrating like positive moments or wins, those kind of things, is something that you don't do, because in order for you to celebrate something, it means somebody else is feeling bad. And I've basically been brought up that you don't celebrate those little victories because they're almost expected. You sort of tip your hat in acknowledgement to it, and you carry on and you keep going and do your next one and do your next one and do your next one. So I have this very messed up view of success and what success is, and how you almost define success and how you celebrate success to some degree. So when she's said thank you as she's left, it was really tough to feel that you've made something that then helps somebody be normal, be a kid, play the guitar and do those normal things. And it's such a simple thing. It took me half an hour, and it potentially helps her carry on playing the guitar however long she wants to play the guitar for. And it was just that little thank you that kind of tickled me in the right place, that even now thinking about it chokes me up, that I want to stand here and say I'm proud of something that I did, because to me it was so simple, but the help and hopefully the feeling that that gives her is so much bigger than me, so much bigger than I could want it to be. And I know it seems a bit, I don't know, it's a little bit faffy or whatever else, or a little bit odd to be kind of getting emotional about that, but I think that shows the level of where I've been when it comes to doing these things and being able to be proud of them. And I just wanted to be kind of proud about it. So hopefully, if I can get up, here's a video of her playing. It's 9 second long. Yeah, prototype or not, it actually works, and I'm dead chuffed with it, to be honest. Dead chuffed. I think there's a message in that 12 months ago, I would not have been able to do this. I wouldn't have had a clue what I'm doing. But I've always wanted to try and help where I can. And I feel pretty useless at most things. So when I was able to just apply a little bit of skill that I'd learned over the last 12 months and get an outcome that helps somebody, it reminds me of a lot of us have things that we're capable of that we might not necessarily know that we have. We take our skills and abilities for granted sometimes because they're not big things, because they're not seen as big, obvious, like they don't shine bright like a huge light of look at me, I have this skill. So we just kind of don't think that we're potentially any use for anybody or anything like that. And I think there is potentially times in life where something will come up and you'll feel like, well, I can do that, I can help in whatever way. And to you, it's such a small, little, borderline insignificant use of your time that it takes you 2 minutes, an hour, half an hour, whatever it is. Yeah, easy enough for me to do. I do this sort of thing every day, bang. But the difference that it makes to somebody else is huge. And I think that's the thing. It's the arc, isn't it? The act of random kindness kind of thing, where yeah, you just do a little bit of something and has a knock on. But I thought I'd talk about it because I don't know what it's like to celebrate kind of wins and victories, and it feels strange to feel that you did a good thing and to feel proud of what you did because of what it then enables somebody else to do. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to feel about it. It does make me quite emotional to think about it. It's not a feeling that I'm used to. I'm used to pushing those feelings down and being like, it's just a thing. I just did it. Throwaway kind of thing. Don't worry about it. Have it, and don't get like involved in the emotions. Just push them aside. But I'm trying to learn and grow, and yeah, growth takes exposure to things that you would do differently. I guess I don't know. I just thought I'd share it with you guys anyway. So cheers for tuning in, and see you again next time. Cheers, guys.